Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Thursday, the 6th of June 2019. So yesterday, crude oil continues to move lower. Gold gains as defensives dominate stocks. So let's take a closer look and see what happened. We'll start off with the Dow. So let me just have a move around it. We'll use the real-time chart here. So yesterday morning, this is where prices were with regards to completing the market alert. And this was fascinating because the market just took off as the UK markets opened. You'll see it there, you go, and moving higher. This is quite amazing, really, given the pre-market session. So the market's already up 50 points there, and just continues to move higher. And then what I was doing was just measuring 76% retracements to see where the market would come back to, and it just traded in a range, came back up, and then it blew out again to the upside, which you'll see in just a moment. As prices continued, a bit of a exhaustion here as prices then traded sideways and continued on. And if we have a look at the daily chart, which we will do in just a moment, we've gone through the 200 bar moving average, and it takes a lot to drive through these areas, and also the 25,370, which we spoke about yesterday, and the market driving up to the 20 bar moving average there as well. So we'll go back to the intraday, and again I marked up some 76% retracements. This price bar was fascinating. This one here, I'm just going to play this one and just speed things up a bit. You can see it came down. Watch the volume. I don't know what was behind this, whether somebody came in with a large number of futures contracts on the CBOT. And you'll see the volume just lifts compared to all of the other price bars. And apart from these two that we'd seen earlier, there was just the odd one there, but just came out of nowhere. And it's these small nuances that make analysis very, very interesting. So then the market moved lower before we got into the main event, and look where it trades down to, 200 bar moving average. Market bounces off this as we head into the main session. Look how we came back nearly 100 points in the pre-market session off that 200 bar moving average, and then as soon as everybody else is involved, the market gets stuck into a range, and again you've got this big spike up here. What this is actually showing is that there is a real fight going on at the moment to try and keep this market afloat. And here again you see the market coming down to that 200 bar moving average, also 76% retracement. Well, just over 76% there, and then eventually the market breaks back below the 200 bar moving average. We see the market being tested, and now we're back above it, and now we can make our way back to the upside there, and you'll see prices moving up. And throughout the session we were stuck in a range again there, and then eventually, but this took a lot to do. They had to wait for the selling to disappear out of the market before they could bring prices back to the upside. And then we've got the end of the session there, and again you see them bringing the prices up. So let's just go back to the current picture and bring this back so you can see this. I'm just going to move this distraction. Right, there we go. So market gaps down on the overnight, so as the electronic session kicks in, down to the 200 bar moving average, bring the market back to the previous highs. You can see there is a real tussle going on here to try and keep this market on the upside. Overnight around 3ish as well, you see the market putting in a 76% retracement, and now we're heading down to the 200 bar moving average, having hit the previous day's high and stayed there for a bit. So let's have a look at the daily chart, see what we can draw from this. So we're at the 20 bar moving average. The key here really is the volume. It's the lack of buying in this market. That's for sure. There's not much buying at all. So will the market hold above this level? Who knows? But at the moment it's looking fairly weakish, and yesterday is a very narrow range compared to the previous day, and the volume is more or less the same. So there is some selling in the up move here taking place. So what news have we got to try and move the markets today? Well, we've got Barmy Carney. He's out at 10 a.m. no doubt to be waffling on about the impact of Brexit. Also Super Mario's out as well at 1:30, and they're the only one. So 1:30 and 10 a.m. So we'll see if we get a reaction in the pound, because the pound's been very quiet of late. This is the daily chart. Yesterday the market trading up to the 20 bar moving average. Bit of an increase in volume there, bit of selling, but trying to reverse, but not doing a lot at the moment. Below the 200 bar moving average on the overnight at the moment. And yesterday it took a bit of a spike there at 1:30 when the news was released to move the market. That was it. So nothing too exciting going on there at all. Let's just move out of here and have a look at the implied volatility. 1594 for Tuesday. Wednesday 1495 as the market tried to move higher again. This is a good pullback. It'll allow it to actually move higher, as well as we see over here as in December, when we culminated with Powell then saying that he would consider not increasing interest rates, and then everything turned out fine again. So there's plenty of potential to move to the upside there. And markets, Deutsche Bank 692 yesterday. The range was very narrow, 686, 696, and then closing at 692. The yield still inverted, as we can see here, all the way to the 20-year, but not above the 30-year yet. So we'll just keep an eye on this. But certainly an inversion in the yield curve, which we've spoken about a lot here. And then finally in Bitcoin, the market managing to move higher a bit yesterday, as prices have sold off recently. Bit of a correction going on there. Sideways move in the 4-hour chart there. You can see this bouncing off the 200 bar moving average. And then yesterday's activity, which you can see here. I'll just remove all of the annotations that I was playing with yesterday. So we had a short when I was recording the market alert. The market found support, eventually moved higher. We then had another short and another short. So we're all winning trades yesterday in the Bitcoin market. Nice buyback here. You can see the volume coming in here. Also here they started to see the support, but it then had another final shakeout before moving higher. And then overnight we've seen the market trade back up to the 200 bar moving average. This then did a retracement from here back to here. Well, rather from here back to here. So you've got that big correction there. And then a few hours ago the market managed to get above the 76% retracement. 200 bar moving average, and then following a 76% retracement, the market's currently back below there. So yeah, it's very interesting, but the Dow in particular is occupying my attention at the moment, because there seems to be a lot of pressure on the downside here. Again, we've got this gap. The gap is filled. And yeah, and this also is saying a lot as well. We go back to here. The activity in the pre-market is a lot smoother than when they come to the main event. You can see they're very choppy in sections before then moving higher. So there's a lot of, when the main event opens, there's a big battle going on. But in the pre-market session, it's smooth as silk. Just look at that. Amazing. So it's these changes and subtle changes that you should be aware of. and tune into to see what's really going on. This is very, very interesting, because in theory it should have just continued either up or down, but there's certainly a battle of buy and sells going on there. Okay, that will do it for this one. If there is anything to report today, I will let you know, but at the moment, a bit of downside pressure there. I'll be monitoring this as soon as I've uploaded this to see if the market gets down to the 200 bar and what it does when it gets down to it in this 5-minute time frame. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.